Will rates go up? It's March 1st. Let's see if we'll see anything. That was dumb. Stay tuned. Yeah, check 1, 2. Good morning. How is everyone? Today is the let me look here. Today is the March 1st, obviously. Duh. Today's my sister's birthday. It's the 61st day of the year. How's it going so far? So, anyways, the last month of the first quarter, we all know what that means. We'll see what happens, right? Let me get a few things up here. I wanted to talk about something. I had a graph here. I'm going to show you guys. I got this from Moida. Let's see if I can find this here. Thought I sent it to myself. Maybe I didn't. All right. So sorry for my lack of professionalism. Hey, anyways, I hope you got a good cup of coffee. I do. And it's a I forget what brand it is. Oh, it's I forget what brand, but it's Snickerdoodle flavor. Basically, it's cinnamony. But oh, and hey, you guys will notice that I've uploaded a couple of shorts. I'm gonna have one for the next every day for the next 3 or 4 days. So on both channels, I'm working both channels here, and I'm trying to get the algorithms up. I don't know why, because appease the Google gods or whatever. Let's see if I got it on this email. Oh, I know what I need to do. All right. Get to the comments, get to the low boards, everybody's booked for the week, so as long as nothing goes wrong, I should be good for the weekend. Let's see. Maybe I deleted it. Maybe I was like, why do I want to talk about that? Let's check my downloads here. Well, poop. I guess I didn't save it. Oh well. It was showing that truck prices were down, and man, it had a whole chart and everything. Man, I don't know why I got rid of that. Oh well. Anyways, this is how lame I am. So yeah, I thought I emailed it to myself, and anyways, yeah, I cleaned out my email inbox. That's the problem. That's what I did. So yeah, that's what I did. Oh, well, let me see if I can find it in the trash folder. No, it won't be in there. So, anyways, all right, let's get to the comments here. Jerome Jones, what's up? Let me give you guys something to look at. Let's look at the weather. Let's see what the weather's doing here. I have not been keeping up the weather like I used to, and oh boy, what a mess. Let me look at this here. Share screen, window, click, share. What a mess out west. A lot of issues going on. Look at Nevada. Nevada's like, I'm ugly. Then Utah's like, I'm going to try to keep up. In California, well, it's always ugly. And looks like the southwest part of Oregon. And, of course, Montana's doing things. So quite a bit going on if you're out west. If you're out east, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Except this little patch here or whatever this is. Which is probably, is that a winter weather advisory? Huh. Yeah, it is. Little winter weather in South Carolina, like Greensville, Spartanburg area. But beyond that, if you're east of 35 and you're not in South Carolina, you're fine. A little bit of Virginia too, which, you know, probably a little squall, little snowfall, little freezing rain, but there you go. Jerome Jones says, I'm 1 minute late, which is better than what I've been, right? I used to be an hour late, hour and a half late. Hell, one day I didn't even go live. So there you go. Desiroki Pam, good morning. Hope all is well with you and yours. My name is Nobody. Good morning. Gary Bates, 50 cents a mile. There you go, Gary. Go get it. Yeehaw. I've not seen 50 cents a mile, at least, you know, on a full load, maybe a partial, but I have seen some 85-cent mile full 43,000 pound loads posted. Don Schonger, what's up? Good morning. CDN, morning, Steve. It's March 1st, 2024. Started last month for quarter one. Hope you enjoyed your extra day yesterday. Kickoff March strong, business and personally. You know, I remember a friend of mine who worked salary, and she once said, this is the day that I work for free. And that was yesterday. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's true. But then you get that free day, you know, when it's 27 days, right? So, Gen Z, good morning. May your DPFs be clean and your MPG be high. That's called the owner's blessing, right? I just had to go CB Rambo on a driver, so it's a good morning. Getting rough out here. Let me tell you, is it getting like Mad Max level? Like, do you have like something mounted on the hood of the truck yet? Cheap Freight Hauler, good morning. Getting ready to finish off a solid week. Good on you. Good on you. Good morning. Back in Florida, Jose. We're back at the homestead. Steve, I really enjoy your truck stories post-workout. After we work out, we can have a clear mind. Thank you. In the pickup, I was like, I haven't been telling trucker stories. Yeah, that's kind of been, that little lesson's kind of been in my head. Because it was an interesting transformation that I didn't even realize was occurring, simply because I was just practicing, didn't even realize it because it was fun, right? So sometimes, when the rates are down and you got to run outside of your normal comfort zone running areas. You just got to put your nose to the grind and just, then next thing you know, you look up and you've actually made some money. I mean, that I've had to do that myself personally. And are you ready to do difficult things? That's kind of what trucking is, right? David Edwards, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Scott V, good morning, sir. Got to run. Catch you on replay. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Rockin' Robin, good morning from Duncan, Oklahoma. Loading about 10 a.m. when the crane shows up. Oh, so you're not at Family Dollar. You're somewhere else. Maybe we will get angry Snorelord once he figures out what I've done. Good morning, everyone. What did you do? Did you get super singles? Yesterday was my mom's birthday. She's 19 now. In 8 years, she can buy her own liquor. There you go. Yes, that's what we did last night. We went over to the wife's mom's house and told her happy birthday and the whole 9 yards. It took me too long to get that joke, Mrs. A. Too long. Good morning, chat and Snorelord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker. Woo-hoo, says Sterling as he would read it. Sterling, you got a bit of a mess. Looks like you got a bit of a situation. So hopefully you'll get home safe and hopefully you got a good cup of coffee and you're good to go. Grandma Lord. I don't know about that. Pale Rider's in the house in his newly built studio. Make sure you check out his show tonight at 8 p.m. Are we still doing that? We're still doing that, Mr. Pale Rider? So, man, I wish I could find that article. Let me check one more place here. You guys don't need to see my business. I've been utilizing this AI tool, and on my shorts. I'm glad it's free because it has been very effective. It'll make me 20 clips and maybe 2 are useful. And those are the ones I've been uploading. Here we go. No, that's not it either. Hey, basically, here's the gist. There was a chart explaining that truck prices. Let me see if I can Google this. Class 8 truck prices. See if I can put OIDA in here. OOIDA. Yeah, I'm completely ill prepared on this. Let me see if I can do images here. No, it's not doing it. Well, I'm just telling you that truck prices are getting a lot cheaper, which is one of the benefits of a down market. No one is out there. Funny how supply and demand works, right? So just kind of, let me get rid of all these here. Again, I apologize for my complete lack of professionalism and polishedness. I'm in Lovelock, Nevada, 55-mile-per-hour winds, stop to barf. Ugh. Man. Interview? Yes, I still want to do the interview, David. I got to clear up some space on the StreamYard and reduce some hours on it because I'm at my max on recorded hours. So, Pale Rider TV says 8 Central. Yes, 8 p.m. Central tonight. Pale Rider will be live on his channel, so make sure you check it out. Why do I constantly get called out for my Yankee accent? Someone from the South, please adopt me. Good morning, Shannon. Everyone from Maryland. Yes. So, do you remember last weekend when Shannon was like, "I'm gonna go visit Snorelord and his wife. I'm gonna do a full 34 in Springfield, Missouri." Well, guess what? She lied to you guys. She fibbed. She completely let everyone down, including myself and the wife. That's what she did. So because, it's funny, I accidentally got one of her rate cons, and so I called her up. I said, last I looked, Springfield, Missouri was not on the way between Maryland and Indiana. And then she was crying and was apologizing and all that. So I've got to give her a hard time. But she's a trooper. She can take it. She's not ultra sensitive. She'll be all right. So, again, I'm used to rejection and disappointment, so it's no hair off my back there, Shannon. I'm used to the deception from Shannon. I love her anyway, says Sterling. Have mercy on me, Snorelord. Whatever. You get no mercy from here. So, all right. Let's take a look at some load ratios on DAT before we start on the 1, 2, 3 load board. And we've already looked at the weather. You guys don't care about that except for Sterling, who's nothing, the weather, there's not really much you can do a whole lot with that. Just be aware and park when you need to park. Flip your company the bird if they make you run. Let's see. Jackknife TV says, good morning, Snorelord and everyone else. Make it sound like that's funny. It makes it sound funny. All right, so let's take a look at the screen here. This is the load ratios. We'll see if everything's still kind of flip-flopped here. Alabama's normalized here. Arkansas is waking up a little bit. California's still dumb. Colorado, still more out than in, but not much. This is for Van, by the way. Georgia, 1076 in, 1209 out. So Georgia market's kind of, it's still more out than in. Illinois, there's more loads coming out of Georgia than Illinois. There's that. 746 in, 803 out, which means the Illinois rates are going to be kind of difficult today, more than normal. Let's see, what about Indiana? 601 in, 601 out, exactly, to the T. Now, again, you have to take these numbers with a grain of salt because, as I've demonstrated, you've got multiple load postings, right? So look at Missouri, 380 in, 398 out. Ouch. You hear that, Don? Which Don's not running today. He's got some serious business today. But look at Ohio, 839 in, 984 out. So that's not too bad. But no 4-digit numbers except for Texas, obviously. So we'll see what that equates to. It might be a quiet day, except for Georgia. Georgia's got the most volume. Georgia, California, and Texas have the most outbound loads. Texas is 2,500 in and 33 out. So that's interesting. Well, let's do this for reefer here. Take reefer out. Arizona looks decent for reefer. California, not so much. Idaho looks good. 24 in, 178 out. But again, that's a lower number when you think of the whole country. Florida's almost even, which is interesting. Let's look at Missouri. 75 in, 127 out. So not very big numbers today. Now it's early yet, but still. So Texas is 897 in, 1287 out. So there's definitely some freight coming out of Texas now, whereas there was a time where it wasn't. Wisconsin, 109 in, 173 out. Now, some of this volume change, it could be attributed to the fact that a lot of brokers are going away from the main load boards. And DAT is getting a lot of flack. I'm not bashing DAT, but I did that little snippet where I was on their live feed. I was chatting in their live feed, and they read my question, which was, how do they feel about a lot of brokers going to other digital platforms? And he said they're not. And now what they did defend was the last minute, I've got to book this load because the truck fell off or whatever. That stuff, you need a human interaction for that. And I don't think they quite realized what I was saying, because when it comes to Uber, Coyote, and all the digital brokers, there is a lack of human interaction, which kind of hurts things. But a lot of these brokers that are on Parade, there's still a human working them. And so I've booked 2 loads off of Parade just this past week. And one of the brokers is super paranoid. Like, we had to fill out a special form. We had to, verify, all but pictures of the truck. And they were sure to tell me, when your driver gets to the shipper, they're going to want verification. It better say like trucking on the side of the truck, that kind of thing. And then I was reading on Facebook yesterday that there was a person that, I forget what the name of the broker was, that was like, they said that they had to see his vehicle inspections or maintenance records. Maintenance records. Why would a broker need maintenance records? And so they wouldn't work with him because he couldn't generate that, because I guess his wife controls all that. She wasn't home at the time. He had this whole story, but I've never heard of a broker. CDN, are you still in here? Have you ever heard of that you need maintenance records for a generic dry van load? And so that's how silly things are getting. This is how, and I have people, they ask me all the time, should I get my own authority? And I'm like, I don't even know if you can run with your own authority as a new authority. And the only way I would get my own authority right now is if you had a direct customer and a contract with them that can't be underbid at any time, at least for a while, at least for the first year. And that's kind of, that's the new normal. I know RD, if he's watching, he hates that term, the new normal, but this is the new normal. And the brokers can be choosy, and their AI systems and their Go Highways and their TMSs are not allowing any leniency whatsoever. And it's so you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to book freight. Imagine this: you're spending 2 hours, you've made about 30 phone calls, you finally find the load that you want, you get the rate that you want, and then the broker goes, "Oh, we can't use you because you don't have an inspection." Or, "We can't use you because we're not set up with you, even though you've been around for 7 years. Because this particular customer doesn't want any new carriers." And that's probably true as well. I dealt with that when I was brokering a load, is the customer was like, "Hey, I don't want you to use anybody that you're not set up with." I'm like, "Oh, okay," and that was a problem. And then you have the big brokerages that have different agents. Some are willing to go get the extra special permission that their computer won't let them have, and go to the higher ups to get that permission. And some are just like, I'm not dealing with it right now. I'm not even dealing with the carrier packet. And then some are trying to reduce their costs, because every time there's an RMIS, a broker has to pay money to, I think, I could be wrong, you have to pay money to do a carrier packet with a new carrier. So you it's a challenge right now. And if you're a new authority, find one broker that will work with you, and they become your dispatcher. It's like, all right, and you got to be willing to run anywhere. And that's you just have to your nose to the grind. You got to do. I don't know what else to tell you, or think outside the box. Become valuable. Let's see. Let's go back to comments here. Actually, let's put the map up here first, and then we'll go to the comments. Let's put Van up here first, and we'll take a poke around the country and see what rates are doing this morning. This is for Van, by the way, so you can stare at all that red. Let's see. Shannon refuses, says Sterling. Good barbecue and tire chains. Cheap freight hauler. Good morning, Jackknife. Jackknife saying hi. If it's only 8:19 in Georgia, give it another 10-20 minutes, then recheck the ratios. We could. We'll do it here in about maybe half an hour if I'm still live. Very funny, Mr. Red Lady. Almost all my loads are through Parade. They are the better paying loads at times. Yes, they are. Chief Freight Hauler, I'm making a list of brokers I've worked with before that won't work with me now. Isn't that interesting, though? That's the part that I'm having trouble with. So when you go this whole it doesn't make sense thing, right? So let's use I won't name any brokers, but let's say there's a particular broker. I've done 8 of their loads in the last year. I get their email. They're constantly calling me, hey, got any trucks available? And then finally we wheel and deal on something. And then they go, oh, man, we can't use you. Why not? Well, because of this customer, because of this inspection, or because of this, And why all of a sudden am I not good enough? What changed? And maybe nothing changed since the last 8 times I've ran their load. And so what does that tell you? That tells you that they're using different parameters, and CDN has told me about this. And if they're using Carrier 411, or if they're using Go Highway, what Go Highway will do is it will put up red flags for the littlest things, and then the broker agent has to go to the main broker and say, hey, I need to override this, this, and this, because I know this guy. I know this customer, I know this carrier. And now they want evidence that the side of your truck has the truck name. They want the driver to call 3 or 4 times. I had to fill out a special form yesterday for one of our drivers just to say that he was who he was. And for something that barely breaks $2 a mile. They are the fraud is through the roof. And instead of punishing the bad people, it's punishing the good carriers, the carriers that did take care of everybody, their brokers, their customers. It's affecting the good business owners. But that's just how it is. This is the new normal. If you don't have a .com address for your trucking company, they barely want to work with you. And there you go. Sterling says, I have a friend at XPO that says they are thinning out drivers on lane violations, seatbelt smoking, pre-trips, also lots of random drug tests. Yeah, they're going to find ways to thin the herd. These companies are laying off. And like, I know that the van drivers for Amazon, like the guys in the little utility vans, they can't even take their hand off the wheel to grab a cup of coffee or whatever. You know, they're you know. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Yeah, Shannon, get with me. I'll share you the number. All right. If you're watching. Good morning. I'm late joining in. Let me text her that number right now. While I'm thinking about it. I apologize, man. I am brain dumb. Let's see here. Good to see you, by the way, Night Ranger. Oh yeah, well let's highlight his comment. Yeah, no, it's not. Right. Do. Sorry about that, Jeff. There you go. I've texted her your number now, so. I've hauled 5 to 6 loads for a brokerage in the past that has had a lot of loads in my area. That has a lot of loads in my area. I can't read. Now they're telling me they require 3 trucks to work with them. Isn't that interesting? Jackknife TV, the video I'm putting out today, I was just talking about making some kind of video on the challenges of getting your authority in 2024. Old School Trucking, what's up? Morning, Snorelord in chat. Shannon says she's got it. Good deal. Ever tried not negotiating a price? Every time I've done that, the broker seems surprised and offers me more money. Let me read that again. Ever tried not negotiating a price? Every time I've done that, the broker seems surprised and offers me more money. Yeah, that's actually happened. You know, it'll be a situation where they've actually posted a decent rate, and because I keep, especially on a day where I'm losing loads for $100, $200, or even $50, and by losing I mean I'm on the phone with them and somebody takes it for $50 less, or they won't go up 50, and the driver that I'm calling for is like, I ain't gonna get, has a fit about that. And so what I have had happen as well is there was a scenario of a load going out west. And I called my main guy. I said, hey, looking at this load you got, it's got to be at this number. And he's like, okay. So he calls me back 5 minutes later. And mind you, I just lost 3 or 4 loads to $2,500 with this guy because people were taking loads. They were flying off the shelf like nobody was negotiating. And so I'm thinking there's a small little window where the competition was fierce. And he calls me back. He goes, hey, I got you actually 300 more than the rate that you were asking for, which was about 300 more than what was almost 500 more than what they had posted it as. So I was like, wow. And it was cool. That's why these relationships are important. And as a new authority, it's hard to have that. You know, and you got to have a good relationship with, as a carrier, you got to have a good relationship with some brokers. The brokers have got to have good relationships with the customers. So when things go wrong, they can kind of calm them off the ledge. And you got to have drivers have to have good relationships with their carriers. You know, Jeff was live yesterday, and he talked about, you know, people that keep the ELDs after they leave. There's no reason for it. And it's like, and these, you know, and I look at the applications and I see these job histories. There's no, the only consistency is they constantly change jobs. And what you find is the grass is greener. People, they tend to not show loyalty. They're not into consistency, and those are the people that are really struggling right now. Those are the people that are taking that load for $100 less than what it's posted for, just so they don't sit, because they're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. It's like rats on a sinking ship. Sage says, just spoke with a buddy who is an agent who will not work with companies under 5 trucks. Wow. So what's going on in Texas for van loads? Let's take a look at that. New company policies. Yeah, a lot of new company policies are coming out. So look at Arizona be green in the van world. It's all right. So that reflects what DOT was showing too. Let's see. Let's do it the highest rate. 47.51 to go to Fife, Washington. Of course, you got to go through all that weather mess that we were demonstrating earlier. 204 a mile to go to Beaverton, Oregon. $1.84 to go to New York. Brownsville to Middlefield, Ohio. Let's take a look. This is $2.14 a mile. So let's see why it's above $2. It picks up today. Delivers Monday. 1,600 miles, so a little bit of run in there. 18,000 pounds, nice and light. Crude rubber. And so, yeah, there you go. That's a decent paying load, Brownsville, Texas. Make sure you don't have any border jumpers in the fairings there. Laredo to College Point. College Point where? You have to apologize. My internet is being slow. 2 p.m. today. First stop's in Philly. Second delivery is in College Point, New York, which is right there in New York City. So they're at 35. Cargo Chief's got it at 36. But you're going to want the actual miles. So that may not be worth it. Actually, let's go back to that real quick. Let's see what the tolls are on this load. Because $1.82 to go into Philadelphia and New York City? I don't think so. Yeah, you're looking at $340 worth of tolls. This additional cost calculator is really handy because an inexperienced person that just bought their first truck may not know that there's almost, $350 in tolls on this run. So guess what? That ups that cost per day by far. And so out of this $3,500, after fuel and tolls, you're looking at making about $2,000. And that's before your carrier's cut if you're signed on with somebody. So are you going to go into New York City and deal with all that for what? $1,500? That's $500 a day on net. I can think of easier ways to get $500 a day on that. El Paso to Lakeland, they're not even breaking $2 on this one. This got 2 stops, one in Jacksonville, one in Lakeland. They're at 3,500. Cargo Chief's got it at $4,000. So, see, California, they're not paying to go into California. Sparks, Nevada, you can make more money going into Nevada, per mile, than you can California. $1.67 to go to Miami. So let's look at the $1.36. $1.36 going on. I think I saw one of those. Here's one. $2.12 a mile, $2,800 to go Laredo to Orlando. Picks up Monday. But yet $1.64 to go from El Paso to Richfield, Ohio. Well, we're already showing more volumes out of Georgia. Here we go. Voca, Texas to Vacaville. Oh, that's California. Never mind. I don't have my glasses on. So you're looking at 170s to about 215, depending on where it's going. A couple of $1.41s going out to California. So one of the things you can do, let's put this back on Van. You can scroll down to Texas here. Click on the number, and you can see all the outbound Texas loads. This is for Van. So if you sort this by highest rate, 302 to go to Michigan from McAllen. Let's take a look at that one. 42.5, email only. Email only. BNSF. That's an interesting email, though, isn't it? And see, here's the thing. So they have this deal where we'll even click on this. We no longer allow contact details that do not match broker account information in open text fields, the comment section. So this is how they're getting around it. They're putting spaces between the dot and the co and the com or whatever. And so that doesn't help from the fraud, right? So obviously there's some issue with this load, because why is it 5,300, 30 down, that's 3,208, $1.83 a mile, which is reflecting what 123 was. So if we do the highest rate per mile, $241. These are all like short loads. So let's go back to highest rate. The highest paying stuff's going northeast or south or northwest. New York, Maine. These are all loads for today. I'm surprised I'm not seeing a bunch of van with teams going on here. So rates have come up a little bit coming out of Texas. Here's Dallas to Edison, $262 a mile. But again, it's that. Oh, here we go. carrierreps@gmail.com. That is not correct. All right. BNSF is a bigger company. They do not have Gmail accounts. roger.carrierreps@gmail.com. And there's a ton more money, almost over $1,000 more than what the 30-day is. So that spells sketchy to me, right? So I wouldn't even call on this. Meanwhile, you got this JB Hunt, Del Rio, Texas to Oregon. they're right at the 30-day. We got this weird odd number thing going on. It's rare for JB Hunt to be right at the 30-day, by the way. So this is what you have to look out for, right? Is the Gmail accounts, and there's a lot more money on these. And there's several of these. So you're looking at between $1.60 to $2. You got $2.24 to go to Colorado. $1.77 to go to Idaho, which is insane to me, but Abilene's a tough market to come out of. So yes, don't negotiate. They have a number where they need to be, and they will offer more sometimes. Yes. Sterling says he's sailing away. That eliminates me since I'm a one-truck operation, says Old School. One dispatch call already today. I was on the phone with DIY yesterday when he had a day before, and he had one of those dispatch services call. Oh, man, these people didn't know what hit them. They were promising 13 to 15, was it 13 to 15,000 a week? We can promise you, they were like, we can promise you 13 to 15,000 a week. What kind of trailer do you have? I think it went in that order. That's how stupid this is, right? Is that how it went down, DIY? And so I called him out. I said, man, how are you getting 13,000 a week? What's your secret? Well, we're a third party, of course, in broken English. And I'm like, what's your MC number? And they're like, we are, and they started to stumble. But I was like, man, I want to know how you're getting 13. If I'm going to give you my services, I want to know how you're able to promise $13,000, because there's, unless you're doing specialized hazmat or something like that, you ain't getting no $13,000 a week. In van or reefer right now. And then we were passed on to the manager, and I think she was even more clueless than the dude we were talking to. It was hilarious. I mean, we were respectful for the most part till the very end, but I mean, this is the scamming that's going on. You guys look at my community page and see what kind of dispatch services are out there. And it's insane, right? TJ, good morning. Randy is late. DIY, thanks for asking if anyone knew what night paid reefer owner-operators a few weeks back. Now I'm getting night ads daily in my YouTube feed. Dennis Richardville, good morning, Stephen. People, it's been a while. I hope things are looking up for everybody. Well, we're going to find out, right? It's March 1st. We'll see what happens. February's finally over. Trying to be helpful, a search for an answer to your question. I missed something there. That El Paso to Lakeland, I normally run that for 4,500. That is low right now. Yeah, and they're gonna try to keep it low, especially if they're not desperate to move it, right? I don't even have a low board anymore. I just call. Real RD, what's happening? Spot market is trash and boring. Let's talk about something interesting. Well, no one goes to my non-spot market videos, so it can't please anyone at all. Jeff says, start over. Sterling Wheel, guitar live show or I summon Wife Lord. Okay, all right. Not sure BNSF is posting anymore. I've seen JB Hunt posting instead of BNSF Freight in the comments. Isn't that interesting, right? And I wonder if they're aware of that. And I've seen it. I think Armstrong had an issue. There was a agent on Facebook going, "Hey, we've been compromised, and so not all the Armstrong loads on the DAT board is they're not us." And the more that happens, the more brokers are going to be like, you know what, screw low boards. And the people that DIY and I were talking to the other day, we literally could barely understand them. But they literally said, we can promise you $13,000 a week. What kind of trailer do you have? Well, how can you promise me $13K? I could be a heavy haul person for all you know. Gifted 5 Snorelord memberships. Thank you, Sterling. You always. Oh, I can't wait to get that comment. I don't know if I should even bother getting my company reactivated with the freight rates the way they are, and the cost of living is through the roof. I mean, it all depends. I mean, it's just all depends. You're a good egg, Sterling. Thank you. CB, it's the end of quarter one. The volume and rates will improve in a couple of weeks. I agree with you, CB. Yeah, DIY is agreeing with me. Sage says drugs. I don't know why. I always tell them I have a refrigerated flatbed. I love that. And do they keep going with their spiel, cheap freight hauler? Do they keep going, yeah, okay, we promise you $13,000 a week in that refrigerated flatbed? That's funny. $13K a week from border to Democrat states and don't ask questions. Oh, that's funny. Gooseneck reefer, here you go. Hi, I'm from Pakistan. I know market very well. I get you $10,000 a week. And what's happening is some of these dispatch services, they want their money up front. So it's like a till. Like I got my Easy Pass through Riverlink. And the way Riverlink works is they take your card information, then they charge your card $60, right? And if I go through a toll, it will take from that 60 first, right? And then when the 60 gets down to a certain number, then it'll automatically get refreshed from the card. Well, that's how these dispatch services are doing, except their rate is like $1,500. You give us $1,500, and then when you go to pay us, we'll take it out of that first. Meanwhile, they got your bank info, they got your $1,500, and they don't have to do squat at this point. So, whereas, Rig Runner, there's no contract. You get invoiced. It's that simple. So, but it's also getting extremely hard for a dispatch service because of the scammers. Gary, what's up, man? Mr. Cab Over Man, what's up? How you doing? Gerardo says, make America great. Angel, Rick Santiago is promising $12K a week, and it's all lies. He charges $350 up front, books you at $5 to $6K. I have a buddy who almost failed because of his dispatching lies. Yes. I've heard so many bad things about that person. Angel, it's good to see you in here, and I'm sorry. I hope you didn't go through that. Josh says he's made it. Good to see you, Josh. He's living off of the $350 upfront costs and scamming the drivers out there. So watch, and seeing the brokers are getting onto those services as well, right? That freaking guy is still around. Rick is really using his cloud he built for himself. The uninformed is who's give anybody clout that doesn't deserve it. Nothing like hustling your fellow driver into the poorhouse, right? Yep, he posts videos on Facebook and you can't even respond because he has it blocked. Yep, most of the other crap on Facebook I just reported to Facebook as spam. Sometimes it disappears, but Facebook likes cash. He's also promising $19,000 for teams. Yep. Wow. Gary, you retired? Not me and one of my good buddies. Well, it sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad that you weren't fooled into that. But, that's the thing. And so this is part of the effects of the net. Everybody's all concentrating on the rates, right? But it's the other stuff that like, for example, when the rates are really, really good, what happens? The prices of truck goes up. Tolls go up. Fuel goes up. Everybody wants a piece of that pie. And then when those pies start running out, they find ways to steal them. Fraud goes up. Fuel theft goes up. Card scamming goes up. Meanwhile, the cost of repairs and fuel and everything keep going up as well. So now you're getting hit from both sides. And so these new people that came into the market last year when everything was hunky-dory, or a year before, I guess, at this point, they're the ones that were gullible, and they're being desperate. So these dispatch services come in and say, hey, we can do this. And they promise them these big money. And a lot of these foreign carriers that definitely may not know better. And that's, there's no such thing as a promise of money in trucking. Mark this time down, wife for CDN. There is no such thing as promised money in trucking. I don't care if you're a company driver. I don't care if you're an owner-operator or a lease operator or a full-blown carrier or even a broker. There's no such thing as promised money. Anybody who says they promise you this or they promise you that, that might be their intention. They might believe that in their head, but there's no such thing. Thank you, Mrs. A. Because even as recruiters, when like David Edwards, what did your recruiter tell you how many miles you would get or what you would be doing? Or how many times a recruiter says, oh, yeah, you're going to get a new truck and you're going to be on this dedicated account. Next thing you know, you haven't been home for 3 weeks and your truck smells funny because of the last person that was in it. This business is full of empty promises. Empty promises. And so you have to navigate. And I take a lot of that stuff. I think I take it, not take it for granted, but I'm oblivious to some of it because it's so second nature to me. Like, obviously, if I see Gmail on the DAT board, I'm obviously not going to call that or email that person, right? Obviously, if someone promises, $15K a week when I could see the numbers of what most people are making a week in generic dry van and reefer, obviously, I go, well, whatever. But you got to realize that not only have I been in the industry for 15 years, but my dad was in the industry. So I've been surrounded by this industry since I was a little kid. So there's a lot of things that are just second nature to me that may not be to someone that just got their authority 2 years ago when the rates were sky high and they paid $100,000 for a 800,000 mile truck. So, and it's rampant. That's the worst part about a down market. Look, if you're willing to do anything, anywhere, as far as like multi-stops or go places where no one else wants to go, and you keep your nose to the grind, you got good relationships with 2 or 3 brokers, you can still make money right now. As long as your truck holds out and fuel doesn't spike, you're fine. Okay? But unfortunately, all the conditions are making that harder and harder. Cheap Freight Hauler says, a few of them have stumbled and asked, what is that, or what do I normally haul on that? I tell them mining tires from Bridgestone to Arizona, New Mexico. It gets so hot out there that they have to keep them cool in trans. The rest, they say they don't dispatch for those. Angel says, amen. Mrs. A says she got it. Good deal. Thank you. Lloyd, good morning, Snorelord. Wishing everyone a safe and profitable week. I'm in a day cab today due to my truck being down for DPF issues. We think the filter needs replaced. This business is too volatile. Yeah, I don't care if you're contract. I don't care if you're dedicated. I don't care if you're spot market. I don't care if you're an owner, a leaser, or a leasee. It's volatile. And most people, CDN and I were talking about this, or we were texting back and forth about this. You have to be a problem solver to own a business. And man, trucking will throw a lot of problems at you that you didn't realize you were going to have. Like, how many of you got their own authority like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? How many of you anticipated this almost $1 billion to the tune of $1 billion fraud that's going on now? Right? How many of you, prepared for that? The mechanic will figure it out when he comes to work on it. Thankful to be a company driver today. Jackknife, in this glorious economy we're in, unless you're employed with the federal government, your job could disappear almost any day, and trust me, creditors are realizing that. Rates are reflecting that, and so is the amount of credit or downgrade of credit in the last couple of months. Almond Chimera, what's up? Gary, sold to Kenworth, but I still have the cab over. Good. Do you still drive it? You're going to go to the show? Hey, in the next Joplin Truck Show, you got to bring it down here. I want to check it out. You and Harold could be in there in your little cab over. It'd be awesome. I can guarantee one thing in trucking. When you apply for your authority and your MC and your phone number are published in the registry, your phone will constantly ring from factory and dispatch services. So at the time that I was thinking about getting my own authority, like years ago, that was some of the best advice I had, was somebody said, get a burner phone. And that's the number you use to register with. And put that phone in a drawer and forget about it. CB says selling your plasma and catalytic converter theft is probably more profitable than trucking right now, but not nearly as fun. That's true. Timo, what's up? Smooth trucking. Hey, Snorelord, long time. Yes, it's been a minute since you've been in here, Smooth. Provost, broker would not take me as I've have not had an inspection in the past 6 months. Told them hope not to have one in the next 6. Are you having some issues like with the? Obviously you are, but Provost is a one truck show that's been around for what? You've had your authority for quite a while, and primarily does specialized stuff. But then when he's running off the low boards, I'm wondering what kind of things you're seeing. It's me, Gary, going to the ATHS show in New York, PA. Is that the historical deal, right? And so, yeah, it is cool. Very nice. You just got to be, look, it's a minefield right now. And you never know when you're going to step on a landmine. And so when a carrier gripes about a driver using only 1 or 2 or 3 brokers all the time, you got to understand that's kind of that's helping the carrier. It's exposing them less to fraud that could potentially happen. Because what if one of our new people don't realize that you shouldn't email a broker that's got a Gmail address? And they don't keep up with the trucking news to realize that JB Hunt, BNSF are kind of the same thing now. What if they don't realize that? Not everybody watches YouTube. I know that's hard to swallow, but that's true. But still grossed 4K on 1,500 miles this week. Home every night, but one didn't work Monday. Still possible if you've made relationships. There you go, Gen Z. That's how it works. And I got 45 for a load that was posted for 36 because of a good relationship in our history. And I've literally gotten $1,000 over the 30-day on loads going into Colorado in the past. So, and I mean, it is possible to make money still. It's the net that's struggling a little bit. Now I know people that their gross went down last year, but their net actually was about the same. So you have to find those people and say, okay, what did you do last year? It's about running a business, right? That's essentially what it is. I mean, it's getting redundant at this point. So that's why I'm just trying to let's look at the low board and see what we're dealing with today. I'll tell you what, if you're a one truck pony with a new authority in 24, you're only going to work with TQL and maybe 5 other large brokerages until they decide to change their standards. You need to look into that because I don't think CH is taking new authorities right off the bat anymore, and TQL wants inspections. And that's why people have told you not to get your own authority, Jackknife, because of those things. The Hool, what's up? Can anyone move this cool weather out of the southeast? It's crimping my liftgate work. Then the big problem is now that you're a new carrier and you're stuck working with little brokerages, you're not going to be able to factor those loads. Most likely you're taking a big risk. Well, there's a big risk whether you factor or not, whether you deal with a small broker or a big broker. Because remember, there are some big brokerages right now that are struggling to pay their bills. It's not just the little brokers. So if you deal with a little broker, you deal with that little broker that's got a contract with the local, factory, and you become their best asset. That's what you do in that situation. You can't be someone's big asset in like Uber, right? A truck driver off of YouTube is either certain age or behind the curve mentally. How do truck drivers find a significant other? I have no idea. I really don't. Get in a mindset of not just how much I can make, but how much I can save. Yes. How much can I save? Cents per mile. Hey, that's sensible for you to say that. Small brokerages are not always bad. I took a chance on one with $800 load in January. Done everything like they asked and had a check in my mailbox 7 days, not quick pay fees. And so establishing that, they need their credit to get better, right? And so you can help build each other, right? That's the advantage of a small brokerage. You can help build each other up, and and there you go. And you can stay busy. I called to question it, and it turns out they pay every load that way. I reach out every time I'm in that area now. There you go. And you'll probably take a lower rate of theirs if needed, right? Because you know what you're getting into. You know what the deal is with them, and that's important, right? So let's take a look at Arizona. Let's see why Arizona is green. With the van. We're still $1.32 a mile. Again, green state doesn't necessarily equate to higher rates, right? Let's take a look at this. Let's see what Cargo Chief's got this at. Goes to Michigan, so you can go visit Jeff there. Cargo Chief's got it at $37.64, so they're literally $1,000 below where it needs to be, or where it has been. I'm sorry. Cost per day reach, no. So it's also where it needs to be as well. It's not where it needs to be. Your profit per day after fuel is only $323 per day. After fuel and tolls, which is $41 of tolls, which is probably Oklahoma. And actually, no, it's probably... No, it's not Oklahoma. It's up here. Now, Michigan's a good place to land, but this is way underpriced. They got a bunch of these. $1.32 a mile. $2,700. Got them for the next week. $1.41 to go to Morris, Illinois. Here's $2.26 to go from Goodyear to Spokane. 70 cents a mile. That's got to be a partial. Yeah, LTL. Now, Phoenix to Chino is $1.20, but that's kind of on par for Arizona to California. Yeah, see? Well, Cargo Chief's got this at $8.55, so they're way below. By half. Cost per day reach, no. Profit per day is $176. So, yeah, Arizona's green. There's a lot more freight, but means you can kind of negotiate a little bit better. Let's do this highest rate per mile. See where the highest paying stuff is going. Does the Morrison load, Illinois load include nachos? The whole America's a glorious place, and I'll tell you why. Because you can go to almost any convenience store and you get nachos. And so if you tell the broker that you need a nacho allowance, any extra $100 for nachos, that actually might be a decent negotiating tactic. Can you come up, $100 on that? Well, I really can't. I said, well, how am I supposed to buy nachos on my way to Illinois? Oh, I think I know what you're referencing. Never mind. That went over my head. 3,900, $294 to go from Arizona to Eltopia, Washington. Let's see what this is about. Picks up Monday. Right through all that bad weather that we were looking at. Right through all of that. So just keep in mind on that. But it's not until Monday, right? Cargo Chief's got it at 31. They're at 39. Oh, it's hazmat. There you go. That's why there's so much money on it. Phosphoric acid. So there you go. Here's Axel's got that, the Spokane. So that's one of your better paying loads. 206 to go to Colorado. $1.88 to go to California from Nogales. $1.86 to North Dakota. Here's $1.85 to go to Salt Lake. 81. So some of the rates are okay for Arizona. But these are all like next week. So if we sort this by age, there's only 2 loads for today, sorting it by age. Rest of these, there's more than that. I misspoke. So here's how dumb I am. I should go up here and pick up date. See how many are for today. The Gallus and Neosho, here's my load. Axle Logistics, which sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. Legitimate email, so that's a good sign. And then there's this message feature. I can direct message them about this load, and it automatically shares my name, the company name, MC and DOT number, my phone and email. And they have all the info right here. They got the reference number. And if they don't see this message right off the bat, it automatically emails them. And I've been on the other side. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feature. So as long as Axle has been hacked, you are directly talking to one of their agents on this load. That's one of the cool features I like about this load board. 48065, by the way, if you want to check it out. Let's put the banner up there. New Mexico, West Palm Beach. Now, notice there's not a whole lot of posted rates on some of these. These Pepsi Logistics probably aren't even there. Let's look at this Becker, Phoenix to Raleigh. Coffee's gotten cold. Dang it. Cargo sheet's not even available on this load, so it's not a common lane. LTL, that's why. A lot of LTL, right? There's a few of these I'm seeing. 8+ hour old. Here's SPI Logistics, Yuma, Arizona to Greensburg, Pennsylvania. I haven't been able to do an SPI load yet. Multi-stop, multi-pickup out of Yuma. Going all the way to PA. So you want to take the time into consideration. So that's why I don't have a rate on there. Appointment required. So you would need to call for those details. But Cargo Chief's got it at 41, but you're probably going to get more for that because of the 3 pickups. So let's see, $1.04 a mile to go from Arizona to Texas. Again, that's a hot shot. Plainfield, Indiana. Here's Nogales and Martin, Tennessee, $1.49 a mile. Keller Freight Solutions. So when you look at this, let's look at the mileages on this. Okay, it picks up today at 2, delivers Monday at 8 a.m., okay? They're at 2,400. Let's say you're a horrible negotiator or you're desperate and you go, I'll take it, right? So that's about 3 days. So 24 divided by 3, that's 800 a day is what you make on that. Gross. Now, you still got to take fuel. You still got to take your carrier's cut out of it. And there's no tolls. The only, would you do that load? Do you look at it cost per day or cost per mile, right? Arizona to Denver is always a decent lane as far as price-wise, although it is difficult to get out of Colorado, especially when you got all that going on. Picks up at 5 p.m. today. Now, the danger with this load, let's say you're interested in this load because you live in Denver, right? Picks up at 5 o'clock today in Tempe. Let's say about 4:30, the broker calls and says, hey, this load just canceled. What do? Are you going to be able to find anything else on a 5 o'clock on a Friday out of Tempe? I will tell you by experience, no. It's going to be extremely difficult. But yeah, look at the rate, though. 262 a mile. 862 miles. That's the danger of a late Friday pickup. is how do you recover if this load falls apart? And they've been falling apart quite a bit. And again, I've got a call, message, or bid. So we can put a bid on here. And see, it has all the information. I put my bid rate in there. I hit place bid. And so it has a bid feature. Now, I think I might have successfully booked one load this way. But it is a cool feature. I can call. It gives me their phone number. I could do the instant message, which is pretty neat. And then I could put a note here. Hey, and this note is specifically for me. So when I hit save note, now what happens is it marks it that I've notated it. So I could put in the note, I emailed this, no response, or I called, no response, or they won't go above X amount of number. Because let's say I run out of options and I got to get the truck moving and that load's still posted, I might have to go back and say, hey, I guess I got to do it for that. That's happened. And there's no shame in it. You got to do what you got to do, right? Yeah, probably a side of botulism with those nachos in some places. See if you can get a load that pays enough that Jeffrey might want to run it. Jeff doesn't have a truck. I've been sent here by the Church of Seminary. How about some flatbed or reefer loads out of the warehouse capital of the Northeast, Allentown, PA? We can take a look at that. Let's do great new search. Let's do Allentown. Have you ever had the lobster bisque at the Wawa there in Allentown? Have you? Have you, Jackknife? Have you ever done that? All right, going anywhere. And we'll do this for flatbed and reefer because Jackknife hates van drivers. All right, so $3.34 a mile to go to Massachusetts. Of course, all the highest paying stuff's going to go more northeast. We can sort this by highest rate, see where the long haul stuff's going. Oh, here we go. Here's your load. East New Market, Maryland, going to Largo, Florida. $10,000 on this load. $11 a mile. 75,000 pounds. LTL. I mean, this is a dream load right here. U-boxes. So U-boxes, I don't think can go on reefers. So I would question this, but I could be wrong. And obviously, this is probably a typo. I would go to Largo, Florida for 10 grand. I would do that. Let's see, Colorado for $1.83. Reefer, not a whole lot of flatbed. Here's the one, Baltimore to Lenexa flatbed. Let's take a look at this. They're at $2.31 a mile, $2,500. Picks up Monday at 1, delivers Wednesday. I don't have my calendar in front of me. They're at 25, so they're wanting to move this. Flatbed, 48,000 pounds. Lumber, so you're going to have to tarp it probably. $71.40 in tolls. Let's look at our reloads out of Lenexa for flatbed. Not much. 8 loads Lenexa anywhere. See what they're paying. Yeah, it's all shorty stuff. Like $550 to go from Miami, Oklahoma to Ava, Missouri with a bunch of deadheads. So nothing close by. Your closest load is Harrington, Kansas to Dallas. Now they got $9.50 on that, $2.14 a mile, but then you're going to struggle to get out of Dallas. So for a decent rate. So there you go. Florida, Minnesota, not a whole lot going to California, which is surprising. Bunch of $1.80, $1.39. You know, of course, you got Jersey in here. Jersey's a tough market price-wise to come out. Here we go. Sparrows Point, Maryland to Macomb, Illinois. Flatbed, 48,000. 1709. They're at 1725. And so that's about, you know, it's been as high as 272 and as low as 201. So, and then you got the Sparrows Point to Conomowoc. It's also flatbed. Pretty good volumes, though. These are all for Monday. I'll put this on reefer now. Wimpy McPote, the only thing going up is prices, rates staying as they are. I've been sent here by the Church of Semi. The Lord has spoken, and he says, do it yourself. Axle Logistics sent me a tracking link 4 days after the load was delivered. Yeah, that's the thing. They're fumbling with this new technology that they're forced to use, right? Flatbed trucker, good morning. Go to Vegas, buy a girlfriend, and easily save $50,000 compared to the usual ball and chain. That's a neat feature there, Snorelord. I've been messing with 123, just checking on rates and features and stuff. They basically took what's missing from other low boards and implemented them. Yes. Yes, I had to replace loads once last week and twice this week. So far, I've been blessed to find loads to make it work out. Yeah, and Shannon's attesting to the whole, you know, load cancellation thing. Mrs. A says, if you can't buy a better woman than a Las Vegas hooker, then that might be a reflection of yourself. Yes, Snorelord, they brought it back. It was for a long time. For some reason, it's the best lots or best I've had except fancy restaurants. What are you talking about? What's that round trip, or do you have to sit on that load for like a week? Well, even at $10,000 for a week, I would sit on a load for a week for $10,000. You're not burning any fuel, you know. James G, what's up? You still look for a driver for your dedicated deal? If so, put your email up there. You got a wrench. You can do it. You can do it, man. Oh, and by the way, Jeff has a flatbed for sale as well. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Thanks for watching. It's been, look, here's the deal, man. Trucking's volatile. Watch out for the scammers. The brokers are, which is why they're being more strict with you, right? And avoid Gmail addresses on, you know, when emailing, avoid emailing brokers with Gmail addresses or Yahoo addresses. I don't care what the name says in blue. If that's not the correct email, then don't use it. And find more than one tool. You know, the 123 low board is one tool that you can have among many that you're going to need to really be successful in this industry. But the most successful thing that you can do is have the right mindset and learn from others that have made mistakes. And if anybody's online promising you something that's too good to be true, well, guess what? It is. So this thing with what's his name? Like, I can see right through that kind of stuff, and don't fall for it. So there you go. James She's putting his email up there. He's still looking for a driver for a dedicated thing. So if you're struggling right now, there you go. There's something that you can get a hold of him for. AT&T's down again, at least here in Jersey, at least for right now. I can still pay my bills, so it's not that. Wow. T-Mobile home Wi-Fi router through, still working in the truck. There you go. So you AT&T people might have a tough day because you won't be able to book anything. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. I will try to do a guitar live feed for Sterling. And then David Edwards, if you're still watching, we're still going to try to do your interview. Maybe we'll try it this weekend, okay? So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. Don't be dumb. Watch out for scammers. Peace.